I'm head of the department of design drawing. I have about 4 colleagues and 13 assisting students. And I created more or less a lot of the curriculum parts of this specific area of industrial design. And I'm involved in all kinds of courses, electives, creating electives. For this department, sometimes give some advices to other faculties, and sometimes more. Well, I started to become a master of education, and then I thought, well, what should you do with this title? I want to be in education, but not for younger kids, but a little bit grown-ups. And I had a chance because I was scouted by somebody of the university, very young. I was 25 when I was a professional already. The youngest one ever.
Wow.
More or less.
Okay.
And they gave me some feelings about architecture as well as industrial design. Architecture is fascinating because of building,
yep.
Surroundings. So I started on university doing both, but because of the faculty is growing fast of industrial design, it turned out to want to have his own staff, like here.
Yep.
And so I was invited to be the head of this staff, and I skipped then architecture. The fascination of industrial design has always been there. I like really good design stuff, and one of my weaknesses is that I like cars. I try to promote that they, whatever they have in their minds and thoughts, they should be able to express. This is a very important part of transition, because if you have a great idea and you cannot express it in any way, then it will never be something.
True.
It will stay in your head.
True.
Or as we call it, on the shell.
Yeah.
So one of the most cheapest way of expressing is actually making a drawing, because you can make drawings everywhere, not only at the house but also on the train or even in the air.
Yeah.
And you don't need much. It's different to make things like models, and you have specific stuff needed in a specific place, and so it's slightly more difficult to handle. And sometimes you come up with an idea at a crazy moment.
Yeah.
So you then have to sketch it to remember it. So also sketching is not only to make designs, but also to make a sort of visual library. Visual library is most interesting because then you can immediately remember what you thought of. So the difference between a digital agenda, my agenda, old-fashioned, old-school agenda, is that I immediately can see on the pages what I thought or what kind of meeting I had, and what was the relation to this meeting and others.
Yeah.
Or even family-related things. So you write it down and you see immediately on the page what was that? Oh yeah. That's good. That's actually the memory you have. So writing, drawing is really good. Well, I started making a book in the 80s in Dutch.
Yeah.
About industrial design, and it was also a big success, but it was in Dutch. It was a very small booklet. The cover was designed by one of the best graphical designers in Holland. I had full support, but the publisher didn't believe in this success, so he started with making 3,000 copies, and it was sold out in a week. So that was a nice success. The only problem was that I never thought of making a book in another language than Dutch.
Yeah.
So provincial, small country, only thinking about itself, pitiful. And it took a while to think that maybe there is a moment that it should be a better sort of book. So we started decreasing education. The personal assisting people was decreasing, and I had a plan to make a book. Well, officially, my wife had this plan. We were both designers, both in teaching. She's a full artist next to automotive master. And she said, well, we should make a book, and I will help you because you have these experiences of all the years. So I started at 1975. So I'm really old. And I started to think, well, maybe it's a nice goal to make a book, but not a book as a typical learning book, but a book to create excitement of what is design. Could you see these secrets in the book? And around that, we thought, well, you should explain these secrets. So the book started. It took us about 2 years to make the book. Then it turned out, first of all, the publisher also said, well, I don't know if there's a market for those kind of books. And the interesting part, in the world, there are not too many books about design one. And I said, well, patient, story about my old books. I had more books than this one, so this is actually the third.
Yeah.
They will buy it, so they bought it. And it turned out a huge success all over the world. So in the meantime, there's the 9th sprint in 3 years. There's a translation into German, a translation in Korean, a translation in China. And now we are heading for the next success. Now, not simply the success, but we want to have something more easy to understand. Because some students tend to find it rather complicated what's in there. And at first we didn't want to make a drawing lunchbox or something like that. A drawing device where you just had to obey, you do this and that to get a nice drawing.
Yeah.
So that we didn't want to do, but now we're a little softer and think that it could maybe of some use to just give some of these extra examples.
Great.
So the success is huge because there are in the meanwhile about 60 or 65,000 copies sold, which is for an ordinary educational extraordinary.
Yeah.
So my dean is very proud of me. We have good revenue. We have good reactions to the book all over the world. So that's us.
Great.
But that's the two outside.
Yeah.
The most rewarding is that you see some students succeed.
Yeah.
Actually, we as a teacher always give.
Yeah.
And we hope that there are some talented guys or girls are stepping forward and do something for society. So I'm really proud that a lot of my students got reasonable okay jobs. Some leading, some a little bit less leading. But that's maybe the most rewarding. So if I walk through a classroom, I always more or less scout. I see what's happening, but maybe that's teacher-wise. Everybody wants to see. Because some college was desperately looking for some advice, and it's always a bit difficult to give this advice as if you know everything, because their teachers They have their experience there, actually making nice or excellent drawings, so why should I interfere? But the moment I entered, I thought, well, you can see quite a lot of difference between my way of handling students towards the handling way of here. I think there's a lot to be done creating a better curriculum. And it can be done because the teachers are talented, and we have maybe to have a sort of close relationship, if it would be possible, because the distance is far off. So I'm not easily saying, well, I will be back in a month or so. That probably will not happen. I'm nearly sure. I just struggled around this week to get here. So they have to do it partially on their own. But we had nice faculty discussions, and I could explain a little bit about my background as a teacher and what I look at to have a very speedy up curriculum. So the conclusion now, at that moment, is that there is a little bit of time lost. It could be more beneficial when you start in September. My students are ahead right now doing similar sort of work, and are definitely ahead, which is bad. Well, I think that's really promising. Your college is having a nice building. We don't have a special building for automotive design, so we envy you. But I think because there's also an automotive design culture, there are car designers here in this country and car manufacturers, say Tata. It would be great to have a quality education here, and it's maybe wanted for a while, and now it's just started, so a little bit late maybe, but never too late. Right. So I think it should be a big opportunity. I also advise to go have a close relation between the manufacturers and the school, to be able to show students what the real world looks like in automotive design, that it's not only the glamour, with some of them I think it is, well, we are making these kind of sketches. It has no content, so I also have showed them this week that if you don't know what is inside the car and you just make an outside drawing, you know anything about the car, and if you don't try to imagine what is inside the car, it suddenly appears to be a big problem. That's good. So I think you're having a lot of opportunities, I say, for college, but there should be maybe a near contacts with automotive industry. To work hard. I at first thought, when I was not here, but I thought about the students here, they would be fanatic about cars. They are not. That was a worrying part. I thought they would go for it instead of entering the building, looking around. If you have a question, that you say yes and then do you know. That's a sort of attitude which is a little bit disappointing. And the school should work on that, because I could easily say to my students, if you don't want to study, go play at home. I don't care. So you're here because it was your choice. And I'm not sure that it's a choice here is that free. So it could be different, but I would kick them out.